Hey everyone, arebelspy here, bringing you Shadowware commentary number 6. This is a game I'm not playing in this game. This is a game between iClips and PSW Tiger. My first commentary why Plague is bad was the subject. Stirred up quite the controversy on the forums with some people siding with me, saying they agreed, and some people vehemently defending Plague, and some argued the game I showed wasn't fair because my opponent was terrible or something, and they messed up. They did. In my mind, it was pretty much a good example of when to play Plague. I mean, he went Blake Alden, turn 2, 3, turn 4 Plague, and then he followed it up with another guy on his next turn, another guy on his next turn, and he pretty much only made one mistake of not attacking my Jasmine, which did let me get back in the game. He tried to finish off my hero one turn too early, but you guys can go watch that. It's over. It's titled commentary number 1. You guys can go watch that and see what happens in that game if you haven't already. But so iClips, one of the players here, was posting in that thread and said he played a pretty good game with Plague, and I asked him, of course, if I could commentate it. So I have not actually seen this game. I did record the replay without watching it. I'm assuming he wouldn't have said it was a good game unless he won using Plague. So I'm assuming here the priest player is going to win, but I did not watch it. I just hit record and walked away and came back, and there was a defeat screen, so I hit end recording. So now I'm going to be kind of commentating this blind and seeing how it goes as we go along, but hopefully we'll get a better example of Plague use, and kind of maybe see how Plague might be used at least open up our minds a little bit to the possibility that it might not be an absolutely terrible card. And now when I say Plague is a bad card, I don't mean that it's unplayable. One could put it in a deck. What I mean is in a top tier deck of the best, and it looks like Jericho gets a board lead here, playing a Blake after Amber has to pass her 2-turn, but then she kills the Blake with a shield bash. I don't mean it's unplayable. I mean at the top tier, top competitive levels. If you're building an exact 40-card deck, which you should be, there's better cards to put in. There's more flexible. Plague is only good in some circumstances, and there's cards that are good in all circumstances. There's a lot of those cards, and so you should be probably playing those. So the Plague player plays the Jasmine here, and the Amber uses a Jeweler's Dream to hit the hero and see if they have retreat or something to use with that 2 extra resources. They do not. Now here's the problem. The Amber's already quickly falling behind. The Jericho's got to destroy arms. Terrific. The Amber player is quickly falling behind already in terms of card advantage. Now, I suppose they're actually both. They both have about 3 cards in hand. But it's really, I think, this game, if I was looking at this frozen right here, I would say whoever gets their card draw. If Amber gets her Bloodlust, or if Jericho, of course, Bloodlust, never mind, Bloodlust does no good because it's Jericho, and Jericho will just remove that. So I think Jericho has a definite advantage here, in that whenever he does get his Wizened staff, he's going to be using that to draw a bunch and get some card advantage. And there it is. So at this point, the Jericho's got quite the lead. Yeah, there's a Berserker's edge out, but by attacking it like he's doing, he's wearing down the durability, and then he's going to be drawing into more destroy arms, I'm sure. So right now the Berserker's Edge has already had 3 of its 4 durability used up. One when they attacked initially with it, and now 2 more with the attacks on it, and so it's only got one attack left. He does play dual wield and attack the hero with it to do quite a bit of damage, knocking him from 18 to 8, doing that nice big old 10 damage attack. But he's down way low in cards, and now's when the Jericho, I believe, is going to start pulling ahead. Of course, we do kind of have that spoiler in that knowing what plague is going to happen. He does remove the dual wield, and then he plays the plague. It knocks the Amber down to 2, which is going to prevent her from playing any of her weapons, which all cost 4 or 5, and it knocks Eclipse, our plague player, to 3 resources. So that was a pretty good time to play it, because now Amber's kind of locked in. What's she going to do? Apparently, play a Blake to try and hold off, and I don't even know what Cobra Skin Wraps does. Oh, apparently it kills a resource when it comes into play. So this deck is kind of focusing not just on doing a plague, but kind of more resource denial than that. Even I'd imagine there's multiple plagues in Cobra Skin Wraps and things like that. I couldn't even remember what that did off the top of my head, because I don't think I've ever seen that card played. But now, if we see Amber's down at 2 resources and is kind of in the situation, my Boris was in commentary number 1, where you're kind of screwed. You've lost board, and he plays another Cobra Skin Wraps on top of the other one to go ahead and kill another resource. Cute trick. And kind of lock in the Amber again down to 2 resources, and without having that extra card draw, you can't sack to get up to 4 or 5 because you're at a card. Right now, he could sack a card, go to 3. Great, he plays a card. It's probably not worth playing. It's just going to die right away. Instead, next turn, whatever he draws, at best he can sack it to go to 4. Next turn, sack it to go to 5. I mean, he's already so far behind now it just doesn't even matter that look, we've got 5 cards in our Jericho player's hand and 1 in our Amber's hand. I think that huge difference, obviously, is the Wisens in commentary 1. The Plague player didn't have any sort of card draw out before it happened, and so I was able to come back. And he plays another Plague, knocking him down to 1. And here the Amber can probably just say GG because they're at 1 resource and no cards in hand, and the opponent has multiple cards on board, including an armor, a card draw, and 2 allies. So yeah, I'm sure it looks like the game will end next turn, and Amber can, and Amber does just kind of GG out of the game and quit. And so I guess we did see Plague used better there. We do. I still find it hard to justify putting in a deck. I still wouldn't play it. I'm going to go ahead and still say it's a bad card, and I know that's going to upset some people. I think Eclipse here played wonderfully. I think he used the card Plague to the best of the ability of that card of Plague, and I think he made it very effective. But when I say it's a bad card, I mean there are other cards that could have been just as effective in that card slot. By the time he did play the Plague, he already had his Wisens out. He already had a Jasmine on board, and he had already destroyed by wearing out the Berserker's Edge. So his opponent already had nothing on the board to his Jasmine and Wisens and way more cards in hand. At that point, he was ahead that, yeah, the Plague made it so that his opponent couldn't play a weapon, but even if he played it, he could just wear it out again. His hero wasn't that low in health with 8, and I'm imagining he has some healing cards in there, which, if he doesn't, those might be better than the Plague anyway, because they help versus Maja. They help when you're ahead or when you're behind. I guess they don't matter as much when you're ahead, but I'm not so concerned about cards that help me when I'm ahead. If I'm already ahead, terrific, I'm winning. I would rather play a card that helps me a little bit when I'm behind, like the healing touch. And so, and ideally a card that's good either way. Raven is pretty good to play, whether you're ahead or behind, assuming they don't have their own Raven on board. Then pretty much any ally is not that great. But the point is when I say it's a bad card, I mean there are better cards. I think Eclipse played wonderfully here. Not taking anything away from him. I think that was an example of exactly how Plague should be played. But in my mind, it really shouldn't be played. Because yeah, it worked out great there, but what about all the other games you just resource? I think it's to put another way, in CCG terms, it's a bad idea to have a card where you say, I just resource this most of the time. And no big deal. If I get this in this circumstance, I play it. Otherwise, I resource it most of the time. Unless it's a hard counter to a strategy you lose to. Otherwise, there's very few of those here in Shadow Era so far, because there's not a big card pool. But Snow Sapphire might be an example of, I need Snow Sapphire to deal with weapon wielding people, because otherwise my deck loses hardcore to that, and otherwise I'll sack it. And so you play one or two of those. Okay, I grant you that there are some situations where you may play a card that you sack most of the time, except in certain circumstances. But those type of cards should only be hard counters to decks you lose to anyway. If you're playing a main card of your deck that your strategy is to sack it most of the time, it shouldn't be in your deck. And that's why I say Plague is a bad card, because everyone on the forums is like, whoa, and it's great in the circumstance, and otherwise I resource it. And it's like, if you're resourcing it most of the time, maybe pick a card you don't want to resource when you see it. When you see it and go, hey, great, I've got a card I can resource now. Maybe that's a hint that you should replace that with a better card. So, anyway, thank you very much, Eclipse, for letting me commentate that. I hope I didn't put you off too much by kind of bashing your card there. I do think Eclipse, like I said, did play great. I'm still going to defend why I don't personally play Plague. Maybe it's a fun card. I'm talking about at the top tier, competitive level, as it were. It's not worth playing in my mind, and I hope I kind of explained why. But I hope you did enjoy seeing that video, and if you have any other games you want me to commentate, if you play an epic game, if let me know. Shoot me a PM. Post on one of my threads. Post in this thread on the forum. Post on my YouTube, whatever, and let me know your name, the name of your opponent, and I'll look it up, and I will commentate it blind like this. I would enjoy that, and I hope you guys would too. Thanks for listening. I'll catch you guys next time. This is Rebel Spy. Later.